As someone who's always had a fondness for strategy games, Civilization is a series that I've followed since Civilization 2 back in the 90s. Some of course have been better than others, but I've always been a big fan of the genre and the turn-based style strategy game. And you'd think with a title that brings out basically the same game with the same premise every time, I would eventually get bored, but I have to say Civilization 6 is probably my favourite one yet. For anyone who's never played Civilization, basically you start off with one city and one set of warriors, and the name of the game is to spread across the map, building, conquering cities, gaining research and culture as you slowly progress through the history of technology. Within your cities you'll have special districts. These districts will grant you specific bonuses. For example, a science district, all the buildings in there will increase your science speed, and a merchant district will earn you coins, and a culture district will earn you culture, etc, etc, you get it. The map is made of multiple landscapes and terrains, and these terrains can be useful and they can be used for certain things in your city. For example, cows can be used as pastures and they can get food for your city, and you can trade the beef, etc. Or you can get iron or coal, which you can trade with other civilizations or use to build specific buildings and units. At the beginning you'll be on the map with just you and a few roaming bandits, but as you find and spread across the map you'll come into contact with other civilizations, all of which are trying to do the same thing as you. As the map gets bigger, the battle for space and resources becomes more tense, and you need to continuously progress technologically to stay ahead of your rivals. This becomes paramount as you get further into endgame and you need to actually start thinking about winning the map. Now, there's different ways you can win the map. The obvious one is probably the least simple one, and that is to destroy every other civilization, which, although it is straightforward, it is not easy. Basically, you'll get penalties for being at war with other people, and eventually you'll get a reputation as a warmonger amongst other leaders, and at some point they'll all start ganging up on you and turning on you, and it'll be difficult to fend them all off. Another way to win is to be the cultural envy of the world. Draw in tourists from all over who want to visit your cities and marvel at your great wonders. You can also win by religious right, spreading the religion you create across the globe. Though this one I've never really got good at, and it's a bit awkward to do and it's not exactly straightforward. But the main way I generally end up winning the map is by technologically advancing right to the end of the technology tree, where you get to a point of the space race. And what'll happen is you have to research different parts of a space station, and eventually everyone will be racing to complete the space station and fire everything into space. And that's how you win the technological battle. So that's the outline of the game, but what I really like about it is it's super charming. The bright cartoonish animations and colours, they're really fun. And even though you're dealing with a situation where you could be at war, all the leaders have their own little quips and they come up with funny sort of anecdotes and stuff like that. I also love building some of the many wonders that you come across through your technological journey. You could build anything from the Hanging Gardens of Babylon to the East India Company, the Colossus of Rhodes, or the Eiffel Tower. And that's literally not even scratching the surface. There's hundreds of them to build, and they all give you a specific bonus, and you get a cool little animation when you complete it, and you'll see it in your city when you scroll across it.
There were 7 wonders in the world, and the discovery of the Terracotta Army, we may say, is the 8th miracle of the world.
Depending on how big the map is, the game can go on for ages. If you have a big sandbox open game, you can have easily 10 plus hours on just a normal map. And then when you consider there's like 20 different civilizations to try out, all with unique specialty troops and specialty buildings, on top of that there's plenty of scenarios, and there's just loads to do other than just do the main game. So there is plenty of replayability. I'll be honest, this is the type of game I play for a couple of weeks and then I'll eventually delete it, and then about 6 months later I'll reinstall it and then play it for a few weeks, have a few games on it, and then delete it, and I'll just go through that, and I've done that since I've bought it. I find it highly addictive. The turn-based gameplay, it always just hooks me, and I always find myself saying, right, I'm just going to have one more turn, and then the next thing you know, I've been there for an hour just thinking, where the hell did that hour go? So if you haven't gathered by this point, I'm a massive fan, and I don't really have any gripes. You can play this game as complicated or as simple as you like. You can just skim across the surface, or you can dig right down into the details. It's entirely up to you, which means it can match any level or any desire of a gamer's personality. It's entirely up to you. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching.